Hello, hello. Okay, I think we are live. Hey guys, if anyone is here, so today I'm using a microphone. I don't know if you can hear me, and I'm using this headset to make sure that I'm hearing myself. Just give me a minute. Okay, if you are just joining in, actually, I don't see anybody yet, but I will continue. My name is Mike. Thank you for joining me on this live stream chat for the second time. Hi, Omar. Thanks, guys. So, as you can see, my setup is a little sideways today, and that's because I'm trying to make use of that natural light coming in through the window. There's a window right here, and there's one right in front of me. So, I hope you guys can see me clearly and hear me clearly. Okay, so today's video, I'm just gonna go over things happening with the channel, and also, try to answer some of the questions that I've gotten that you guys have sent me. Okay, and please feel free. This chat box is here to get in the conversation and ask whatever you want. Literally, I would answer any question that you want. I get a lot of messages through Instagram and stuff, and it takes me time to answer that. So if you're gonna ask me questions, this is the perfect time because I'll answer them. I'm right here to answer them. Okay, I'm doing great, Christoph. Thank you for being here. Um, okay, so first things first. I'm actually in the middle of a move right now. See, all of this stuff is gonna be gone. So me and my wife we're getting ready to move this summer, and we're selling things off and all that. And also, I might be selling the car. So if you saw my recent video, I did a video on the SL 500, which was a requested video, by the way. But I don't think the channel takes too well car videos, really, because I know a lot of you join the channel from watching the airplane videos and probably are more interested in aviation than you are in cars. So that will determine long term what I'm gonna be doing with the car. I'm gonna answer that in a minute, Adonis. I hope I'm not butchering your name. What got me into flying, dude? I don't know. Honestly, believe it or not, I don't know if I mentioned this before in one of my videos. Growing up, I used to walk to school. Where I grew up in Lagos, and we would walk some days like 5 miles, and it was not because we didn't have a car; it was because the roads are bad. And I remember the road was actually very close to an airport, and I would see airplanes fly by, and I think that was the first itch for me as a little kid. Always seeing airplanes fly by while I was walking to school. So and then I decided to do it because I read about a 15-year-old girl who did it. So I was like, you have no excuse. Uh, and that's why I got into flying. But now I'm more encouraged and I feel good about flying. Also, the reason why I'm sharing my passion online is because, look, you don't see too many people who look like me uh, in a pilot uniform, even till today. I'm almost 30 years old. And whenever I fly commercial, I almost see, actually, I almost never see an African American in a pilot uniform. So, and I think part of it is, I don't know, there's a stigma around it. Most black people you may see may not be interested in flying because they don't see others that are doing it. And this is not just for African Americans. I think it goes all across. There's a stigma around flying in general that a lot of people don't see themselves doing it. So that's partly why I'm sharing my passion for it and hopefully getting you guys excited to want to get into flying because man, it's one of the most challenging things that you would ever do, but it's so fulfilling. I can tell you from experience. So uh, moving on, I'm gonna get to the questions. I promise. So speaking on the current situation, I am in the middle of a move and thinking about what I'll be doing for my future videos. I wish I was doing YouTube full time, honestly, so I can like put all my time into this, but I'm not. I have to work and pay the bills. So until YouTube becomes full time, but I promise there's going to be more stuff coming in. Now, the thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. If you've been a fan since day one, then you probably remember the motorcycle videos, which I'm probably gonna get into. I'm expecting my helmet this summer from. I'm not gonna name the name yet, but I'm expecting to get some new gear. Maybe I'll get back on two wheels, so I might be making more motorcycle videos in the coming months. Okay, so that said, let me get to Omar's question. Turboprop, could you do a similar video? Omar, I'm not sure what you're asking. You said to do a similar video on jets or other turboprops. Can you clarify? Excuse me. Okay, I'll wait for Omar to clarify his question. Um, and speaking of turboprops, actually, so Omar is asking a question about doing another video, and I think he's saying on jets. Uh, I'll definitely put that down. But my next set of videos, I actually want to make this a series. So if you watch my channel, a lot of what I do is either I'm, making videos where I'm comparing some type of model. I don't know. Good question. You can answer that, but I don't know. Um, but anyway, so a lot of my videos I'm comparing to, I mean, not to, but several different model aircraft. And a lot of questions come from that. And I'm glad there are pilots also who watch the video, or owners, people who fly this specific type of airplanes, and answer a lot of those questions. So what I'm planning to do next, actually, this was a suggestion by one of you guys, was to talk to an AP mechanic. So I'm gonna be making a series of that soon, as soon as I'm able to tie down the right person to talk to, because a lot of what I want to do on this channel is not so much just to promote aviation, but for people to get into flying, you want to fly. It's not just about earning your license. So for example, I've earned my license going 2 years now, and I haven't used it much. But in a way, I'm not worried about it because this is a lifetime thing. I have a lifetime to fly, but the itch is still there, and that's why I moved close to an airport here. That way, whenever I'm ready to get back in the cockpit, I know that I'm only 20 minutes, literally 15, 20 minutes drive from the closest airspace here. I'm reading your comments, I promise. And that's what I want to include on this channel. So while I make these videos, I also want to include videos where I'm not just reviewing an airplane, but I'm making that accessible to people. And for people who want to own their own airplane one day. So, for example, if you look at some of my videos, the numbers are probably crazy out there. Like the average airplane could be, say, 100,000, or some videos I make airplanes that cost north of 200 grand, or some in the millions. But most people can't afford that. Most people can afford airplanes, say, in the 20 or 30s or $40,000, because it's the same thing as buying a car. And so in my future videos, that's what I want to start including. So a lot of what I'll be doing moving forward will focus more on low cost entry aircrafts, which I'll be flying myself, and also um, experimental. As you may already know, I'm very excited about that category in aviation. So experimental is always something dope, because a lot of people who may not necessarily are not able to afford a certified airplane can probably get into experimental, because one, you have more options, and two, the cost of entry and the cost of ownership is much more affordable. So a lot of my videos will be focusing on that moving forward. And now I'm going to read some of the comments or questions. I appreciate that, Christoph. Look, if I can get to one or two people, I'm very happy doing this. Thank you. Sword asks if I could share a plane with a friend. Do you mean flying it or ownership? The answer to either one is yes. You can always. So, and this is part of actually what I'll be talking about in the future. For people who are looking to get into a specific type of airplane, if you can't afford to, say, own an airplane by yourself, you can always do a shared ownership where you share the airplane with maybe two, three, four. I've even seen some six, seven people own one aircraft. Because when you think about it, an airplane, just like a car, like right now, my car is parked out, not being driven, and I maybe drive two, three times a week. So a lot of times it's just sitting there, right? If I own that car with somebody else who's actually using it, that could be a good thing for me. And airplanes are the same way. So you can always get into programs where you share the airplane with other people. So a lot of times when person A is not flying the airplane, you can schedule to fly the airplane, and the cost will be distributed across the board. So to answer your question, yes, you can always share an airplane with a friend. I can't pronounce your name, 1976, but I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes, Ian Vanover, and please correct me if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Flying clubs. That's another way to get into affordable flying. So, for example, I've made extensive videos on flight schools. And even though I may say some things about my own personal experience, but flight schools are great. And they're about the only place you can easily access and rent an airplane or learn how to fly. But you can also get that from flying clubs. And with flying clubs, you pay like a membership fee. And then I think there's a monthly fee also that you pay. But the good thing is you get to rent and fly the airplane at a lower cost than you would if you just walked into a flight or a flight training school. So that's another way to fly in an affordable way. Um, but the thing about flying clubs, and I've actually looked into some around here, is one, they're very limited, and also some flying clubs only accept certain members. So I know a flying club here where you have to be a certain age, or you have to be, in a part of the, like, you have to live in proximity, or you have to be a student of a certain uh, school or campus to be a member. So flying clubs, if you can find one where anyone can join, then that's great. But a lot of times you find some that are very limited in terms of how, getting you in as a member. And Johnny Boy, I don't know, man. Only you can tell that. But anyway, so you guys keep asking, and I'll move on to the next agenda. And so I mentioned that I'll be speaking to an AP mechanic as soon as I find the right one to pick their brains and sort of educate people who are interested in, even if you're not doing it today, maybe a year from now, you're looking into owning your own airplane. An AP mechanic will be a great person to talk to and learn, some of the cost that comes with owning an airplane, because you do have to save for those things. So I will be making series of that in the future uploads. And also, I if you're part of my Patreon page, or you sign up on Patreon, so I had posted this on Patreon before. There's a build assist program. So some of the airplanes or experimental airplanes that I've reviewed so far, I know I've talked about the Sling, I've talked about the RV10, and which one else? Actually, I think it's just the Sling and the RV. So some of you may already know that these products, you have what's called the Build Assist program. And for those who are interested in that, it's basically, instead of getting the parts and building the airplane yourself, you can go through a program where you save hundreds of hours. And it's basically working with a team of people who build airplanes all day. and they help you in the building process, so you get to save some time. But it does cost a few $1,000s to do that. But I will be making one specifically on the RV10 build assist program. So I'm waiting for to get everything sorted out with that. So I will be uploading that video also in a future upload. And right now, honestly, I want to ask you guys, what videos or what type of videos would you be interested in seeing? And I'm open right now, and I'm taking notes, whatever you guys type in, because you know, again, I can come up with my own ideas and constantly upload, but I also want to put out things that you're actually interested in watching. And I learn based on, if I upload a video today and I see how it performs, or a video that I uploaded a week ago, and you guys let me know literally through viewership and comments and whatnot. But here, let me know what type of video or videos that you're interested in seeing. I've already mentioned some of my ideas. So obviously the channel is generally around aviation, so I'll continue making that. And in my last live stream, actually, I mentioned wanting to get into some business or entrepreneurship stuff, which a lot of subscribers have asked me to do. But the reason I'm a little hesitant to do that is because I don't think it goes in line with this channel, so to speak. So, but if you guys are interested in something like that, then I'll make videos for that and add it to sort of a category to talk about. But if you're not, then obviously I don't want to waste my time in making those videos. Another video that I was going to be vlogging about the car, my SL500, but I don't think that those videos have been received too well. So I probably won't be making much of those. And I am looking forward to, again, getting back on two wheels. So you guys let me know if you'd be interested in seeing more motorcycle videos, yes or no. Okay, and I'll read some of the comments here now. Yes, Johnny boy, I lift. I actually just got back into to going to the gym. I hurt myself a few years ago lifting. I was one of those like asshole just gym rats, and I was doing a little too much, and I hurt my lower back, and I had to like rehab for at least a year. And recently, after I got married, I started going back more frequently. So I do go to the gym a few times a week. Hope that answered the question. Okay. Yes. So in as, do you have plans on getting more ratings? Yes, I do. So to be more specific, as some of you may already know, I have no interest in going commercial. And honestly, that decision wasn't really mine. It was the wife's decision, because when you go commercial, as I've maybe explained before, excuse me, it's a certain lifestyle, right? When you talk to a commercial pilot, you have a lot of younger guys like myself who are, commercial pilots, and they're free to travel the world, and that's great. But once you get married and maybe have a family, you're not going to be home. Commercial pilots get woken up every hour of the day. They have to make a flight at any point in time. So that's why I'm not going to go commercial. But I am looking forward to getting my IFR rating. That will be the next step for me. And also, I might get my CFI rating as well. And that one is more personal because, again, I sort of already talk about aviation on this channel, so it makes sense to actually be certified to do it instead of putting disclaimers on my videos. And even as a CFI, you're never going to be correct about everything. But I do want to go through the process and get the training to actually be certified to talk about certain things and be able to help anyone who's watching the channel or the videos on the channel to answer some of their questions. So next two ratings, IFR and CFI. And maybe after that, I'll probably get a multi-engine rating. So let me go to the next question. Okay, Christoph asked, if you want to start an airline company, what's the first step you think I should take? Okay, honestly, I don't know what the rules are. I'm sure every city or country would have their own rules. But the first thing, honestly, that I would do is the market. You know, I can tell you right now, airlines or having an airline company is crazy, crazy competitive. All right, you can ask the Virgin of the world, and they'll tell you it's like airline business is sort of like sometimes it's like run a retail store. And retail stores, especially here in the United States, the margins are this tiny. Okay, so but I do think better technology, faster airplanes, or less expensive to run airplanes will be coming out, so that would help airline companies. But first thing I would do, Christoph, is research your market. It might be like a little town or whatever. If, say you have a remote town that needs air travel, and they're all around the world. It doesn't have to be maybe wherever you are, but you have to know your market. And then I would probably invest in either an old Cessna 206 or the Cessna Caravan, for example. I know they use that for airliners. I was gonna say a PC-12, but that airplane is probably a lot more expensive. So I would invest in an older airplane just to ease your way in, and start from there. But the first thing I would do is probably research whichever market that you're trying to get into. And I'm sure like airlines also have fees that you need to pay. So I would look into all of those. Um, Alex and 547, where are you from? So if you haven't seen my video on, let me actually go up to my channel right now, pull up this video. You guys probably cannot see my screen, but I did a video about a year or 2 years ago where I talked more in depth about where I grew up. Give me a minute and I'll pull it up for you. Still okay, good. So I'm gonna post this on the. This is for. Where is the name? I can't find you anymore. Oh, Alex. You should watch that video. So for those of you who are not who haven't seen that video either, so I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm born to Nigerian parents. I moved here when I was 12 years old. So I guess legally I'm a Nigerian American. So I hope that answers your question, and then you can watch that video to get a little more details about me. And next question. Please, guys, ask away. I've got a few more things that I'm gonna cover, but I want to answer all the questions because honestly, that's why I do these videos, because it's a way for me to connect with you guys, and if we ever get to meet in person, that'd be great. And I will be at the Air Ventures events this year, so if you're gonna be there in Oshkosh, that would be great. So we can always meet in person. Definitely looking forward to that. Okay, Ian wants to see in-flight videos, landings, approaches, etc. I promise those are coming. I'm gonna be back in the cockpit soon. Bitcoin. I made a video on Bitcoin a while ago, but again, see, this is what I'm saying. I get these requests where people want me to make more videos on like investments, Bitcoin, and just entrepreneurship stuff. I tell you what, I'm thinking about allocating Tuesdays of the week to maybe talk about business. So I might include a Bitcoin in there. Now, I want to say that I do have some investments in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on them. My approach in investing in Bitcoin and any other digital currency is just I put the money in there and I leave it alone. I'm not planning on touching any of my investments or selling off anything for the next 5 years. So that's my approach. So I don't know if that's something that you're looking forward to, or if you want like quick money, try to trade, buy and sell. But I will add that to the notes and see if I can talk about it more. Okay, I've answered Johnny Boy. Okay, we're drifting more into lifting. So yeah, Johnny says he used to weigh 170 pounds and now 200. And is that normal? Yes. In some ways that's normal. I remember when I first started lifting, I went literally from 150-ish, 155 to like 182. So because the thing is when you lift, and I don't know how often you lift, when you lift more or heavier, you get hungry and you eat a lot more. So you gaining 30 pounds, it's pretty normal because that's about how much I put on when I first started lifting too. But you should watch, what you're doing. Obviously, don't hurt yourself like I did. Hi, Ravon. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well too. Donis, yes, I saw that too. I actually my wife tagged me in the video. So Donis was saying that the other day he saw two uh, female pilots, African American female pilots, make history as commercial pilots, and that's not something again that you see often. So that's obviously very very inspiring, and it will be great if more people, not just minority uh, African Americans or women, but just people in general. I think it's great that more people get into flying. And part of the reason why I say that is because it's freaking expensive, right? And the main one of the main reasons why flying is expensive is because only a fraction, like a tiny fraction of the population is flying. And I think the more think about it the same way. Think about cars. Whenever cars were first invented, I'm sure not everybody could afford them. And I'm sure it was a luxury item for people to have or own, right? But look how far we've come with automobiles. And now, literally, anybody can afford to buy a car, or drive a car at least. And that's the same way I think about flying in airplanes. I believe that with more people in the skies, with more people in the cockpit, it gets cheaper. It gets cheaper for everybody. The more people that adopts um, flying, the cheaper the cost will be spread literally across the board, and everybody will be able to fly more affordably. So that's what I think for sure. Next question. Alex asked, do I own an aircraft? No, unfortunately, not yet. So here to actually speak on that. So I've been where I am now. I moved. For those of you who followed me from the beginning, I used to live in California, and that's where I got my pilot license. And last year, I moved from California to back to the East Coast. I'm now in the state of Georgia, and it's a little different here because I actually thought that aviation would be more or less expensive here, but it's been the opposite. So California, for example, it's beautiful weather literally all year round, and so you have more aviation events and aviation activity all year round. So it's cheaper to rent an airplane. I'll give an example. I train in a Diamond DA-40, and the cost to rent that airplane in LA was $145 per hour. Okay, and since I've moved, which was my original plan, was after I moved, I find, you know, a school or a club here, hopefully that has Diamond Stars, because that's the airplane that I'm familiar with, and that's the airplane that I would choose. That's my first choice of an airplane to fly, and I could not find any. The closest airstrip that has Diamond Stars is about 70 miles south of where I am now. and it cost $180 an hour to rent that airplane. So it's kind of been a pooper for me, and that's one of the reasons also that I haven't flown in a while, because I'm hoping somebody close by would get some Diamond Stars and I'm able to rent it. But it looks like I'm probably going to take a different approach. I'm going to be checking it. I'm going to get checked out in maybe a Cessna or much older airplane, and then that way I can transition back into flying again. But no, to answer your question, not yet. I don't own an aircraft, but soon, 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 soon. You pray for me, and hopefully I get all my finances together. Okay. Yes, it is. The DA62 is the absolute dream. I haven't flown one or been in one before, but just watching videos of it. And I actually saw one while I was in California. It's a beautiful aircraft. Expensive though. You need probably 1.2 or 1.5 million to get into one of those. Hi Craig. Hey, you're never too late. I appreciate it. Oh, and honestly, I need to shout out those who have subscribed to Patreon. Uh, I'm so grateful. I know it's $1, but it goes a long way. So Craig, thank you so much. So Craig is one of my subscribers on Patreon. Um, Actually, let me get all the names out right now, and it's a total all of three amazing people. Where is the list? Okay, my patrons. So I have Craig is one. Thank you so much, Craig. Keegan, thank you so much. And Al, you guys are amazing. Because you let me know that you're actually dedicated to this channel, and I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, definitely check out the Patreon's page. And if you've seen it before, you actually see that I made some changes to the page. I cleaned out all the other offers, like, because for me, making my videos really is just to put them out for free. And so all the other offers or tiers of say $5-10 a month, I just cleaned them out. I'm like, look, if you want to support the channel, $1 goes a long way. So I'm not gonna ask much more than that from people. So for all of you who have signed up so far, I greatly appreciate it. And really, what Patreon does for me, it keeps me excited about doing this video. Not that I'm not already. I'm already excited about making this video, but it keeps me in line. And hopefully one day transition from doing what I'm doing now to just doing YouTube, full time. At least that's what I would like to do, to make these videos full time and make much better quality videos, obviously. So thanks, Craig. Moving to the next question. Yes, thank you. LaVon is congratulating me on my wedding. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Actually, I wrote an article about that. How I spent, me and my wife, we only spent $1,000 for our wedding, and the average cost of a wedding here in the U.S. is about $25,000 to $30,000, and we found a way to do it for $1,000. But you would have to read that post to know more about it. Yes, so Craig, absolutely. So the only amphibian airplane that I was familiar with was the Icon A5, or was it A4? Basically the Icon aircraft. If you guys are not familiar with the Icon, check them out. And as you know, I already have my comments reserved for that airplane because there's just been a lot of things. The first time I saw that aircraft, I thought it was a crazy, to me, it was an advancement in technology, because I thought they did a great job in the prototype and everyone was excited about it. But then, as you know, over the years, a lot of things happened where, they changed the due dates. They increased the price of that airplane. I remember the first time they introduced it, said it would cost like 150,000. I've even heard some people say the original price was supposed to be 99,000. And now, if you look at the Icon, you're probably looking more at close to $400,000 for a brand new one. And if you're going to also purchase one, you have to wait a long time. Nobody has any idea how many is being delivered or how often they're delivering this airplane. But that said, I've been looking hard at the C Ray. Actually, I had one person contact me. They were at the C Ray port, or where they're based in Florida, and they took like a demo flight or whatnot, and they took some great pictures. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually interested in this airplane. So I'll definitely be getting, hopefully getting some reviews for you guys. I am planning to travel. I'm going to be in Florida probably in June, sometime mid June. Once we're done with the move. So for those of you who are late here, I'm currently in the middle of a move. So once we're done and settled down, I have a trip to Florida, and hopefully I'll be able to get some videos for you guys and some more cool airplanes. Because Florida to me is where all the LSA and all the new small aircraft, that's where everyone is based for whatever reason. But everyone is in Florida. So I'm going to be making my way down there. So to answer your question, Craig, I definitely will be doing more videos on amphibians. Okay, Alex, I will definitely get to that. Aircraft reviews and comparisons. Look, I want to make more of those videos too. I promise you. And literally every day I'm reaching out to, to people and to aircraft owners. I wish it was so easy to just like hit people up and be like, hey, can I come through and review your airplane, or can you show me around this aircraft? It's not that easy. It's like a process you got to go through, and you might even need to talk to multiple people just to get an appointment. And I've worked hard to get some appointments, and some people even cancel last minute. So those things can happen. And remember also, the weather always controls, whatever I'm doing when it comes to airplane reviews. But I will be making more of those, I promise. This Okay, so Steve Jones wants to know if I can review the Zenith CH640. Okay, so if you've seen my video, I did make a review video on I believe it's the model 750 for the Zenith, and I'm actually planning to do a follow-up video for that builder because he was almost done with that airplane. So I'm gonna be doing a follow-up video for that. Now the CH640, I would have to find. I'm gonna look into it. Actually, let me note it right now. I'm gonna try to find a local person here or who's around my way if I'm traveling outside of the state. See if I can get that. But I will definitely look into that. And then you want to compare that to the RV10 and excuse me. Okay, so the Sling 4 TSI, by that you probably mean the new Sling 4 that's supposed to have the bigger engine. Well, not bigger, but more horsepower. So for the Sling 4, trust me, that's one airplane that I'm very close. I'm keeping close eyes and communication with the people there. So they've actually sent me some numbers for the new Sling 4, but I didn't want to put that out there just yet because then those numbers are open to changes, right? They sent me a draft of with the new Rotax 915, what the numbers will look like, and they look good. I can tell you the cruise are expected to be between 140 and 150 knots, which to me is a winner. But other numbers, I didn't want to put them out there. That airplane is expected to be at Oshkosh later this year, so I believe during that event or after that event, whenever I make my videos, I would definitely update you guys on that. But yes, I will be keeping a close eye on the Sling 4 TSI. More synergy between maker movement and J specific. Yeah. Yes, me too, Craig. Cool, cool, cool. My mic is breaking off. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody give a thumbs up if you can hear me? And if this mic is not, so this is the mic I'm using. If it's not okay, perfect. please let me know if you cannot hear me. If you can't hear me, then I might need to change out the mic and just use my my other microphone. Okay, perfect. Is it clearer now or is it still breaking up? Still breaking up? Uh-oh. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let me how about now? Is this still breaking up? Or is this clearer? Yes, no, it's because right now I've taken this mic off. Okay, perfect. All right, great. So we'll keep the. I actually thought this would be better than the default mic. So I'll leave that now. Okay, to answer more questions, I'm just going down the list. So Richard, do I think the Sling 4 is going to be made? Absolutely. That's what I was just mentioning earlier. They're actually making it right now. They're already testing the prototype. So what was explained to me is the current Sling 4, it cannot be fitted with the new Rotax engine because of the wings. So from what I've been told, the engine size for the 915 is a little heavier. So the airplane, if you fit that engine in the current body of the Sling 4, it's going to be nose heavy. So they're basically readjusting some of the body parts for the airplane. And I also think they're going to have bigger wings for the new model that will have the 915, but it's definitely in the works. They've told me that they're testing the prototype right now, and it's expected to be at Oshkosh later this year. Trust me, I'm just as excited as you are to check out that airplane. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate the love, man. Appreciate it. Omar, absolutely. I follow Steve O, for example. I follow all the pilots. I follow a bunch of people. I'd have to go through my subscription list to get to all the pilots that I follow. I follow Mr. Aviation. Some of these guys, believe it or not, I've been following them for years, even before I started making videos on YouTube. And I remember during my training or before my training, that's what got me more excited about flying. Like I would think about it and I would not do anything, and I would just watch all these videos all day of these guys flying or reviewing an airplane, and that got me more interested. I'm like, okay. And one day I'm like, screw it. So I decided to go for it. So yes, I do follow other pilots on YouTube. Yes, Craig, the RV-14, it's a sad story because I had that airplane act out. So that's one of the airplanes that canceled on me. I was supposed to review that early last month because that airplane model is actually here in the state of Georgia, and I had made the appointment. I talked to the rep there, and we had a date. And literally a day before, they just switch the plug. So and there's really nothing I can do about it. But if I find just an independent builder, because this time I try to go through Vance directly and go through their sales person here directly, and again, it didn't work out. So if I find someone who's building one just by themselves, then that's a better chance for me to see the airplane. But with dealing directly with the company, usually if you're not like interested in buying the airplane, they weren't interested in showing it to me. So, but I do have the RV-14. Trust me, I have it on my notes, and hopefully I'll get to review it one day soon. And auto gyro, I'm not sure about getting to those, but maybe in the future, if I'm feeling bored and I need to do something more exciting, maybe. Okay. All right, sweet. I'm glad everybody can hear me. All right, so you can ask more questions, and as you do that, I'll just move on my agenda because I'm looking at the time here. So again, and also for you guys who came in late, please share with me what type of videos that you want me to make in the future. I'm already noting two that's been suggested, and I'm noting the RV-14 again. I'll add that to the list of airplanes to look out for. And boom, 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 boom. Okay, so recently I was approached by a single seat airplane, so to speak. Now, I don't know if you guys are interested in that, but if you think of LSA airplanes, you know, LSAs for the most part are two-seaters, and now we have single seat airplanes, and I'm excited about it, but I don't know if you guys would want to watch videos if I reviewed one. I know of two already that are in the market right now, and that's one of the airplanes that I'll be reviewing on my trip to Florida. So you guys let me know if you are interested in me reviewing a single seat airplane, meaning it's just one seat. It's just one pilot that can fly. You can't carry passengers. So yeah, we'll be doing that soon. And what's next here? Okay, sure. Aircraft could be interesting about microeconomics, geopolitics. Okay, Sword, I don't know if that would be fitting for the channel. I can make videos about entrepreneurship. That's about it. I don't know. Politics is something that I honestly don't want to talk about. I already get into enough conversation with the wife and maybe some friends, but it never usually ends well when you talk about politics. So, and I'm not in the business of like separating people. I think, you know, one thing I think of this channel, my channel, is no matter what walks of life you come from, where you're from, what country, what race, we all here because we love airplanes and we want to share our love for aviation. So I think I want to keep it that way. If I talk about politics, then things are gonna go sideways, and then it's like secluding certain people because I choose this or that. So I don't think I'll be talking about politics anytime soon or ever on this channel. Okay, Green saying I have 8 hours and wonder about the reality of flying. And this, where are you located? Is it pronounced Green Sink or Grint Inc? Where are you located? So Green Sink is saying he has 8 hours and he's still thinking about buying a 172. Do you have 8 hours in a Cessna 172 or a different airplane? Okay. Okay. Well, if you're gonna continue, I would advise you to get into yes, I would advise you to just get one airplane and train with one airplane. If you've seen my videos, you know some of the mistakes I made during my training was I was going from one plane to another, even though they were the same model airplane. It's always good to just have one, even if it's the same model. Have one that you train in. Excuse me, and make sure towards your check ride you're still flying that same airplane, because every different airplane is gonna fly differently. They're gonna behave differently. So now, in terms of buying, and this is, I was gonna save this for last. If you heard me earlier, I was talking about how frustrating it is to not be able to find a DA-40 close to me. So the airplane I train in is a Diamond DA-40, and there's literally none close by here. And so I'm really thinking hard about getting my own airplane, but it would have to be a old Cessna or Piper. All right, and I'll be making videos during that process because some of you may be interested in purchasing your own aircraft. So to answer your question, I would definitely look into buying my aircraft. That is, if you're going to be based. So for example, where I trained, I was only there for 2 years. So if you're going to be like me and you move after 2 years, then maybe buying is not the best option. But if you're going to be at the location for a longer period of time, say 5 to 10 years, then I would seriously look into buying my own aircraft and just finding a private instructor. And I promise you, and this is not speaking from experience, but speaking from other people that I've talked to and other pilots that I know about who went this route. When you have either your own airplane or you have access to an airplane and you just pay a private CFI, it's so much more smooth. Your training is so much more smoother than if you were to go through a school. Because remember, a school will have a system. You have to schedule the airplane ahead of time. You have to worry about canceling on flights or worry about them canceling your flights or worry about them holding you to a flight that you probably shouldn't be flying because the weather is bad. So you do have all this little politics that you have to go through with the process. So if you can afford it, I would definitely recommend, why not? If this is an airplane that you plan to keep flying after you get your license, in the long run, it would be the cheaper route or the more affordable route, because there's nothing cheap about aviation, but it would be the more affordable route. And I definitely think that you get done much quicker than if you were to go through a school, because your training will go a lot smoother uh, than most people who go through the school system. I hope that answers your question, Grins Inc. Let's see. $182. Why want a school lease a 182? So it depends on what license you're trying to get. Most schools don't actually use, actually, I don't want to say most schools, but a lot of schools don't use the Cessna 182 for beginner's training. By beginner's training, I mean either a sports pilot license or a private pilot license. The 182 think of as the big brother. A lot of schools would use that if you were going commercial. I know that's a popular aircraft they use for commercial training. So if you're getting a private pilot license, you probably won't be flying a 182, partly because it's more expensive to own and it's more expensive to operate. And flight schools usually want to get cheaper airplanes that are more affordable to own and operate. And the 182 they would use for more advanced training, like if you were going for your commercial pilot license. The T210. Let me make sure you're talking about the same airplane that I'm thinking in my head. So, excuse me. So Honda Pro 98 wants to know if, again, a Cessna T210 with the G1000 to build some hours. Now, I'm not sure where you're going to find one with a G1000, but let me just look a little bit more into that aircraft, because I believe it's an older model. Right. So do you have one, Honda Pro 98? Do you have one that you're looking at that actually is fitted with a G1000? So for those of you who may not know this, when you buy an older airplane, like say a 1974 Cessna, a lot of times it comes with the standard steam gauge, right? And which there's nothing wrong with it. But if you wanted to make that airplane more modern and you want to have a glass cockpit like the G1000 Honda Pro 98 mentioned, it's going to be an expensive choice. It's going to cost you a few $1,000s to upgrade that thing to a modern, more modern airplane. And also, I don't even know, because there are also legal rules, where you can't just take any avionics panel and put in an old airplane. I believe there are some legal entangles there. So if you can find one, maybe, but also honestly, and this is just my personal opinion because you asked, I don't think I would get a T210 for my first training because one, that airplane has a retractable landing gear, so that's a complex airplane to fly. I always advise for anyone who is just getting into flying, it's better to fly a fixed wing airplane. Don't make things harder for yourself because it's already a complex task to fly an airplane. Now, if you have to deal with more complexity, then it will be more challenging to learn how to fly the airplane. So my answer to that question is no. I would not get a Cessna 210 as a beginner. That's something I could get down the line, maybe after I get my license and after I get some hours. But the 210 to me, it's a bigger airplane. It's probably faster, and again, it has retractable landing gear, which comes with its own complexity, and also it's going to be more expensive to own because you got to maintain that thing. So that's my answer for that question. And Craig asks, do I have a blog outside of Patreon? Absolutely. I have two blogs, actually. I just launched the MojoGrip. So actually, for everyone joining this live chat, you can always check out MojoGrip.net. I've included that also in the videos that I'm putting on YouTube. And so a lot of the videos that I'm making moving forward, I'm going to blog about it since I have the time. So I'm going to blog about it. So yeah, first blog, MojoGrip.net. And then I also have theincomedriver.com. And both links are, if you go on the MojoGrip channel page, both links are on there. So you can check them out. And theincomedriver.com, honestly, it's a free for all. I'm writing about some of my experiences with money. And trust me, I've made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money. So I'm sharing those experiences on there. And also I share business ideas. And I have some colleagues who help me update the site as well, who write about things that they're doing. And moving forward, I will be updating that blog, just to share some financial information. And a lot of it, like I said, is just based on my own experience and, how I've handled money in the past and how I currently handle money now. Okay, so that's my answer to that. Oh, man. So Craig asked, do I have any personal interest in kit building, and if so, which interest? Of course, I want to build an airplane. So I don't know if you can already tell. Right now I've actually circled down to 3 or 4 airplanes that I would love to build in the future. And by build, I mean once I get the wife's permission. Again, these things come with, when you're married, you're not by yourself. You gotta talk to your partner about it. But yes, I definitely want to build an airplane, and the ones that I'm interested in building for sure, the Vance RV kit, I would love to build either an RV7 or an RV9, and then maybe an RV10. So the two actually at the top of the list is the RV10 or the Sling 4, depending on, once I start a family, then I'll be really looking hard at those two airplanes. And right now, if I were to build one, it would probably be the smaller RVs like the 7 or the 9. But in the nearest future, if my family grows, then I'll be looking hard at the 4-seaters, which would be the Sling 4 or the RV10. And right now I would say the RV10 has a little edge in my books, but that's why I'm also excited about seeing the new Sling 4 with the bigger road tacks. As you know, I've already reviewed that airplane, and I've been in contact with the airplane factory. And the only downside for me with the Sling 4 is I feel like it's underpowered. With that airplane, as great as the performance is, as great as it is, it's so easy to fly, trust me. That airplane is one of the easiest airplanes to fly. I just feel like it's underpowered, and I don't want to feel like I'm flying a light sport in a 4-seater. And that's what it feels like right now with the Sling 4. So I would greatly appreciate it once I see that the new Rotax 915, I see the performance numbers. And for me, my mission is going to be generally 200, 300 miles. So if I can get an airplane that can travel upward 140, 150, 160 knots, that would be my go-to airplane. So right now I'm reserved with the RV10, but the Sling 4 may be the choice at the end of the day, because that airplane it's such a great build, and also it takes half the time to build one. So yes, I hope that answers your question, Craig. Okay. Yes, RV10 is faster, but again, when you calculate the, either speed or cost per hour, because for me everything goes hard, hand in hand. Is I would approach a kit build the same way I would approach, if I was buying a car. I remember the first car that I bought brand new was a Mark 6 GTI, and I had three other cars that I wanted to buy at the time. And I ended up buying the GTI, and it was the slowest. It was the slowest out of the other three cars. I looked at a Mazda 3. I looked at an Audi A5 also, I believe, at the time. This was years ago. And I ended up buying the GTI. And the reason I chose the GTI because it was the all-around package. It wasn't the fastest. It didn't have the biggest engine, but it had the full package for me. So that's the way I would look at, or I would approach a kit build. And in comparing the Sling 4, for example, to the RV10, the RV10 is much heavier, and it's definitely much faster right now. But as I've said before, if the new Sling 4 can hit 150 knots, so RV10 currently, most owners that I know, they say that they usually cruise between 160 and 175 knots, which is you're in the 200 miles per hour range there. Now, if the Sling 4 can hit around 150, that's all I need. I don't need to go 160, 175 knots. I just need to go about 150 knots, and that's roughly 170, 180 miles per hour. That's all I would need, because again, my rule of thumb is, at least for me, when I fly, I don't want to be in the airplane for more than 2 hours, 2-3 hours. That's my personal max. So an airplane, if I want to go, say 200 miles, 300 miles, I want an airplane that can get me there within 2 hours. So yes, the RV10 is faster, but it's not necessarily the full package, at least not yet. So I'm reading more. Okay, so Clifton22JX. Glass Air 3 is fast with good range. Yes, it is. It's actually also affordable, but don't get a Glass Air if you're not an experienced pilot. That's a lot of plane to fly. Just my personal preference. It's a sleek looking plane. It's very fast, very nimble, but I would not get into one of those until I gain, some experience, some hours, and some discipline to fly that airplane. And Grins Inc. Yes, it's Income Drive. The Income, actually, I'll post it. So the blog is at theincomedriver.com. That's the website of my other blog. And Authentic Max. I don't know much about you. Can you tell us about yourself, your business and stuff? Feel like I'm gonna repeat myself here, but I guess I will for those who are just getting here. So hold on. So to answer the question, Authentic Max, my name is Mike. I'm 28 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. Born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. Moved here when I was 12, so that makes me a Nigerian American. I started. So I've worked one job literally my entire career, and it was a consulting gig when I lived in New York. And I worked that job for one summer, and that was it. So I started my own legal business back in 2012. And what I did was basically I was a web developer. And before that, I started building websites back in high school. And I did well with that. Between 2007 to 2011, I did well. I used to own a network of gaming websites. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Flash Games. So that was my thing back in the day. Made some good money with that. And then in 2000 and early 2012, Google just screwed me. They pounded hard. I lost my rankings with a lot of my websites, and so I decided to get out of that business. And I sold whatever was left of it. And later 2012, I was able to find a buyer. I made, I don't even remember how much I sold. I think I sold my entire network at the time. I sold it for like 49 grand. And then 2013, I got the consultant gig. And with the money that I sold, that I made from selling that business, and then the salary I made from that job, I basically put that into my next business, which was an entertainment blog. And I I started that in 2013, but it didn't really pick up until a year later. So between 2014 and 2015, I was able to build another network of this time of entertainment blog, and I scaled that business to close to $2 million for the year. And then I took that money and I invested that into a startup, a video startup called Wara. And that video startup failed miserably. So I lost basically. If you saw my video where I talked about how I lost $1 million in 1 year, a lot of people actually don't believe that story, but it's true. I literally made 7 figures 1 year, put all that money into a startup, and it didn't work out. And so after that, I just kind of try to pick up, little things that I have. And right now, what I do, I make my YouTube videos, and I also work part-time with just building my websites and projects. I'm always building some type of project. So in one nutshell, I'm a web developer. I love anything digital marketing. That's what I do for the most part. And probably future Mike would be a YouTuber with who vlogs about his aviation career, not as a commercial pilot, but as a private pilot who just enjoys flying and shares that passion with the world. So I hope that would do, Authentic Max. That is me in a nutshell. Okay. All right, moving on. We're almost done here, guys. Good times are huge. Yep, Steve Jones. So Steve Jones, we're still comparing the Sling to the RV10. Again, absolutely. If you look at just the build time, then you're looking at more hours with the RV10. Cool. Okay, I have Rovin here, policing the comments. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm gonna be rounding up, guys, and the last thing I want to leave you guys with, again, please send me your suggestions. They are very helpful. Believe it or not, they're very helpful. I have my list of topics and things that I want to talk about, but again, since this channel has been growing, I really want to make content that you guys want to see, not just my own stuff. So send me that, and definitely look out for future videos, which I will be uploading again every Thursdays and weekends. Sunday, Thursday at 1 p.m., Sundays at 9 a.m. I'll be uploading a video. And look out for future videos of Mike getting back in the cockpit. Once I'm all settled with the move, I definitely will be getting back in the cockpit, and I'm very excited about that. But you guys are gonna come with me with that journey, because I'm gonna be vlogging all of it. Either if I'm getting my own airplane, or if I'm gonna be renting, or I'm gonna be doing a shared ownership. You guys will know about it because I'll have it on video. Now that said, the airplane I'm gonna be flying is gonna be a much older airplane. I can't find a Diamond DA-40 or something more modern here. And if I do, they cost a lot. The DA-40 that's 70 miles out costs $180 an hour. The newer 172s out here, same price, about 180 an hour. And if I were to jump into a Cirrus, those are north of $400 per hour, and I don't have that kind of money to commit to flying. So, but that is it. That is it. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. And my plan is to, get on live video and do this at least once a month. So it actually is a great way to just connect with everyone who's been, watching my videos. And I greatly appreciate it, guys. Again, you guys check out the Patreon page. Only $1 a month. Again, it really just keeps me excited. I share 99% of the content I make is free. So the patron support really just keeps me excited and looking forward to maybe transitioning and just putting out more time into making more YouTube videos for you guys. So until next time, guys, definitely watch out for the video drop this Sunday. Okay, so I will catch you guys on that next video. Peace out. Thank you, guys.